Hello. We have been working on eating more vegetables this week, and I've talked about how important it is to have a variety of color in vegetables because each color has a different vitamin and mineral content. So we want to focus on eating a rainbow of vegetables. The more, the better. And today I'm going to talk about another property of vegetables that's so important, and that's fiber. That is something that all of us have heard. We all know about the roughage, the bulking up the stool. If you have a grandparent, I'm sure you've heard them say one of those terms in your lifetime because it seems like that's something the older folks generally focus on is either taking a Metamucil or eating more fiber or bulking up the stool. So, yes, fiber is a great bulker. And that is the reason we usually think about it is it helps us poop. However, it has an even more important function when it comes to the thyroid, and that is to help detox the liver. So, we've been talking about how the liver is responsible for converting T4 to T3. The liver also is responsible for filtering out all the toxins in our body. So, if we're having a lot of toxins go through the liver, it's absolutely going to impact that T4 to T3 conversion. And those toxins can be coming from anywhere. They can be things that are touching your skin that are being absorbed, things you're breathing in, things in your home or your office or your car. It can be things that live inside your body. So that could be yeast or bacteria or mold or fungus, the things we've been talking about in previous videos. So, whatever toxins we're exposed to, that goes to the liver. The liver filters it out and then it turns it to bile, which is so cool because bile you've probably heard of. Bile is used to digest our fats. Now, bile is supposed to go into the gallbladder and then the gallbladder will squirt it into the small intestines. Many of you have lost your gallbladder, and that is something that is so common with thyroid disease. It usually happens before you have thyroid disease, during thyroid disease, or after you have thyroid disease. And that's because the same infections that cause the thyroid to stop working also cause the gallbladder to stop working. So I'm interested in finding that so we can save both of these really important organs. On that note, oftentimes doctors say that gallbladders aren't important, but they are because they package that bile, squirt it into the small intestines. But I want to make a note for those of you that have lost your gallbladder because your liver will keep making bile. And over time, your small intestines can learn how to absorb it through the gut wall. That can take some training and time, though. So, if you have recently lost your gallbladder, we can talk about doing some enzymes. I'll do a different video about that. But anyway, the bile is continuing to be produced whether you have a gallbladder or not. And that bile then goes into the small intestines and it helps us digest our fat. It's fantastic. That's how we absorb all of those important fats that also are essential for making thyroid hormone. Now, at the end of the small intestines, that bile gets reabsorbed and it goes back to the liver. Now, that is incredible, awesome, and amazing if we're not toxic. Because remember, all of our toxins went into that bile, the bile went into the gut, now it's getting used again. The body is intended to reuse and recycle everything, but we're also not intended to be so toxic. So, what happens is that toxic bile goes back to the liver and we just retoxify. We go through it again. And then that T4 can't convert to the T3 and we keep feeling like garbage. So, one of the things we can do to prevent this from happening is eat more vegetable fiber. So, the fiber in these beautiful, colorful vegetables, what it does is it sticks to that bile in that last little bit of the small intestines. So, it sticks to it, and then we poop out the toxins. It's so fantastic, so wonderful, so simple. So, increase your fiber if you want your liver to work better. Now, as I say that, I want to talk about what that means because we used to, back in prehistoric days, like Paleolithic, they've done some research on these people. They used to eat 50 grams of fiber minimum and up to 150 a day. The average American eats 10 to 15, and the government has asked us to eat 25 grams a day. So 25 grams a day doesn't even touch what our ancestors were eating and doesn't even touch what we need to have a healthy liver. So, on that note, if you're not currently eating a lot of fiber, do not start eating a ton of fiber because that can actually make you miserable. So, that could create more gas, constipation, bloating. It can cause problems everywhere. But if you are eating fiber and having a gut response to it, that tells me immediately that we've got an imbalance of good and bad bacteria. And if that's happening, it's likely contributing to your thyroid problem too. So, the take home here: eat vegetables, eat more vegetables. If you are only eating one vegetable a day, start eating two vegetables a day. If you add in two vegetables a day and you have a negative response in your gut, it can mean you just need to do it slower, or it can mean that we need to do some testing and find out what's going on. So increase slowly as you add fiber. Listen to your body, see what works for you. Some vegetables might work better than others. Work with the ones that work for you and increase that, because in doing so, we're going to help get all that garbage out. We're going to bind up that bile. It's going to help your T4 convert to T3. So I'm going to pop my masterclass in this link because I talk more about the testing I use to find out, number one, why you're not converting T4 to T3, to find out why you're not tolerating fiber. And then we can build a protocol from that test, there's two tests, but from the testing, we can build a protocol to help your liver work better, help your thyroid work better, and help you feel better.